party south of the Vindhyas? Can the BJP grow without the traditional regional parties? To tell us all that and more, let's go straight across to K. Annamalai, who is joining us from the Ramanathapuram Lok Sabha constituency. Annamalai ji, Vanakkam, Namaskaram. Thank you very much for speaking with us here at CNN News 18. May I first ask you, did you expect the kind of response that you saw on the day of the beginning of the padayatra?
Thank you so much for having me with your television channel, sir. Tamil Nadu BJP, for a long time we were very clear that the ground is resonating with our Honorable PM Modi ji. And the very good opening day that we had with our Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji coming and flagging off, and the subsequent 3 days, it is really overwhelming for all of us. So today we are in a very deepest and remotest part of Tamil Nadu, Ramanathapuram, Thiruvadanai, and in a village. And right there to see that kind of response in a hot sun. These are all very hot days for us, sir. You see temperatures hovering about 38, 39 degrees in this part of Tamil Nadu. But people braving out that kind of hot sun and coming out, it only shows that people are yearning for a kind of political change at the ground level as well, sir.
Annamalai ji, you started from Ramaneshwaram, now you are in Ramanathapuram, you are saying deep in the interiors. Over the last 3 days, what is the sense that you have got? Is the message that you are trying to take to the people resonating with them? Are people really coming out, turning out and joining issue with you?
I think it's more about the message, sir. Secondly, for a long time, I think Tamil soil is waiting for an event where a national party, especially a person like Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji, who enjoys tremendous popularity, and his party going down at the grassroots level, people wanted to come see change, see the change. Beneficiaries wanted to convey their thanks, and more importantly, the 28 months of DMK rule, also the kind of opposition DMK has built up over themselves in the state. So all this combination, sir. And today we are moving towards Shivagangai now. As we speak now, in the next 1 hour we are entering Shivagangai. So we have completed Ramanathapuram. And generally, you know, in Ramanathapuram there is a overwhelming sense that this is one of the aspirational districts, sir.
Right.
This is one of the Tamil Nadu. We have 2 aspirational districts out of the 100+ districts in India. And the kind of resources that the central government has poured into Ramanathapuram is also, we can see, especially this city, this district is always water starved.
Yeah.
But the kind of money the central government has pumped in building the check dams, and rejuvenating canals, and rural areas, this is the talk now. So we are very happy, sir, and we want to believe that people wanted to see the message that we are bringing, especially about the Honorable PM, the love he has got for Tamil Makkal, the overwhelming importance is giving to Tamil culture, and our walk against the dynastic politics and corruption. I think this is the message that we are taking. We hope and pray that people are taking this message in.
But Annamalai ji, the last time we spoke in Bengaluru, you said you did not want the BJP to remain a 5-seat party in Tamil Nadu and you wanted to take it to 50 seats. Do you see that materializing? Do you really have the kind of cadre, or do you believe there are still a lot of hard yards to put in?
A lot of hard yards to put in, sir, without a doubt, a lot of hard yards. I'm very happy that our leaders and cadres, they're willing to put that hard yards, because you've got to travel to village, talk to people, build up the party at the grassroots level, keep it populated by good people, people who are acceptable at the grassroots level, whom people consider as leaders. They have to be part of BJP at the grassroots level. So it's a long way to go there, but we are willing to put in the hard yard. I'm sure once we do the process right, the results will invariably come, sir. So we just have to go, reach people, talk to them, just tell them that we are not some kind of a VIP politics in Tamil Nadu or VIP politicians. We are one among them, and we are here to learn from them, listen from them, talk about PM Modi ji. This we have to consistently do. I think what the target we have for us, we should reach that in a couple of years. But it's important that we stay humble, where we remain true to ourselves, to our ideological beliefs, to our systems, to our values, and more importantly, push our leaders and cadres to go beyond their self. Just keep meeting out people. I think once we do that, the results will be there, sir.
Right. But many are saying, just like Kamala Hassan floated a party, it didn't work out. Rajni Makkal Katchi also didn't see light of day. The BJP's effort will also fizzle out, because most in Tamil Nadu, quite a lot of them in Tamil Nadu, believe that the core Tamil voter or people will not look beyond the quote-unquote so-called Dravidian politics and Dravidian parties. Your point of view?
I might not agree to that, sir. Of course, it's a Dravidian land per se, but not Dravidian politics. It's a Dravidian land because a very unique thought process, culture, language, a lot of pride in Tamil Makkal. But Dravidian politics is very discriminatory. It is not inclusive. And you can't run a political system, an ideology, saying that you are not part of it, you are part of it, and then divide and rule by caste. So that I don't think that people of Tamil Nadu accept. But unfortunately, you had taller than life leaders like Dr. MGR, Annadurai, Madam Jayalalitha, and they were able to tower over the ideological crack, and they were able to pull all kinds of people towards them. But now we see a huge leadership vacuum, and all it needs is BJP has to be pushing itself as the party by reaching out, taking all segments of population together, by listening more than talking. I think if we do that, we are there, because we have a great person like Narendra Modi ji, who is the biggest brand in politics. Tamil Nadu has seen such a clean person, a forward-looking, qualities that a Tamil person would always love to see. That is all there in Narendra Modi ji. And more importantly, I don't think there is anybody outside Tamil Nadu who has given the love and respect that Tamil culture and this language richly deserve.
Correct.
So it is sinking right at the grassroots level. So I don't think so like what other people comment, sir. I think we put in the hard yards, we are there.
But your allies have given you quite a lukewarm response. Are you dejected, or were you expecting it, Annamalai ji?
No, sir. I think all allies have come, including all the parties which are part of the National Democratic Alliance, and including the senior parties like ADMK has sent a very senior leader to us. And at the grassroots level also, we keep seeing our parties in the alliance. They are coming, welcoming, some of them joining and walking with us. That's okay, sir. We can't expect every party to fully take ownership of what BJP is trying to do.
Right.
But we are happy and glad that all parties of NDA, they believe that what BJP is trying to do is to bring Modi ji back to power. When he comes to power on his own, Tamil Nadu should contribute a large number of MPs out of it, which will benefit our NDA allies also, which they understand. That is why I think, because we haven't seen a stage where BJP is hosting a function and all the NDA allies in that stage for a long time Tamil Nadu hasn't seen, and we have seen that in Rameshwaram,
right,
when Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji was there, sir.
Right. But is this for Lok Sabha 2024 or for the next state elections in Tamil Nadu?
Sir, this is a long one, sir. What we are putting in the ground now, we are planting some seeds. That seeds will take some time for it to flower, and some places where the party doesn't have a big presence. In parties where places where parties have got a presence, we are trying to consolidate it. And in some places where the opposition parties, including DMK, has built a negative narrative against the BJP, we are trying to break it.
Right.
So we are doing all sorts of things in a single yatra, because Tamil Nadu behaves not as a very unanimous thing, where South Tamil Nadu is different, Central is different, West is different, Chennai is different, industrial parts of Tamil Nadu are different. So each place the narrative is different, and you have to either amplify it or break that narrative, false narrative that is built against us. So we see the immediate results we should see in 2024 Lok Sabha.
Right.
But this and many things that we try to do should keep the party in good stead for 2024 and 2026 as well, sir.
But you don't have cadre liye, sir. Isn't that going to hinder whatever success this yatra may get? Because you may create a lot of noise, but if you don't have boots on ground, how is that going to help the cause of the BJP?
One insight is how the main insight is how far Tamil Nadu politics is away from people, sir. That is the one insight. I'm very surprised.
Right.
And sitting in Chennai, we think that we know many things about people, and we issue paper statements, we talk in the press, but
Correct.
Come down. You see how deeply people see us, how deeply people watch us. And return, I don't think the politics in Tamil Nadu, senior politicians, we don't see people that deeply. I think people are growing very, very fast. The ambitions are very high. They're very aspirational, and they're very intelligent. And they watch politics very keenly. And many times what we think we know, maybe we don't know actually what we think we know. So that is the biggest insight we got in the last 4 days of our yatra. So people want more from politicians. People want more from politics. People think that we should do more for them. And with respect to the cadres, yes, the party has got cadres, which is built up over last many years. But truly, to have cadres, sir, cadres comes from elections fighting.
Yeah.
That is how cadres come. And the party has to consistently fight elections in large number of seats as possible.
Correct.
So you build a political cadre of people. So cadres have to be political in nature. So we are very glad that today we were walking in a very rural village, and we were very happy. Out of the 15 councillors, one councillor was a BJP. And first time in the history BJP had a councillor, she was walking with us, and I could see the kind of respect that she is getting from the public in Tiruvadanai, in a small village here, because we made her to contest in the last local body election. She contested, she won. So she is able to build a following of her own. That's how it happened, sir. So it will take some time. But wherever we are cadres are there, the important thing is to convert them into political cadres. That is the main thing that Yatra will achieve.
But Annamalai ji, the Tamil Nadu political discourse, I'll be very clear, has oftentimes bordered or flirted with this concept of soft separatism, Tamilam, talking about only Tamils. Do you see that resonate on ground, or is there a strong sense of nationalism, oneness with India? What have you sensed? What have you seen?
Sir, that is what, sir. The what's on ground, what I saw is the deep love for Tamil Nadu, deep love for India. That is what I see, because now people travel across India, sir. People do jobs across India. People travel across the world. And many people in our Yatra, they have registered, they come from different parts of the world, they are walking with us. And you see, they go a very deep, so-called the remotest corner, but they have brought nationalism into it because of their travel, because of their visibility, because of their learning. This is what I said, that we know, we think that we know people well, but the grassroots, you see, it is like completely different. And more than that, in Tamil Nadu, there is a difference between the society and politics.
Right.
The society is very religious in nature. The society is very forward-looking in nature. It is very nationalistic in nature, because you will not have, because we are traveling in Muthuramalingga Devar's land, we travelled yesterday, Veeran Alagmuthukon's land, we travelled yesterday, and we are travelling in all the great leaders' land. Today we will be entering the Veerapandiya Kattabommanji's land. So it is very, very rich in national fervour. But the politics of our state is not so. That's why we see a gap between the society and the politics. The politics is not a reflection of society. Ideally, the politics should reflect the society. And that is something which I am realizing in the last 4-5 days, though it is very early days, but we still have a lot of hard yards to cover. But I'm sure with proper trigger points, the politics should easily reflect Tamil society for what it is. Right now, it is not reflecting.
My final question, one of the tent poles for the BJP, along with Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, has been Sabka Vishwas, where trying to reinstill the pride in Hindutva and the Hindu roots of our civilization, while having and according respect to all other faiths. Now, do you see Hindutva on ground? You talked about the religious aspect along with nationalist aspect and very aware and forward thinking. Do you see that on ground, or is that on the wane?
Yes, sir, they are very deeply religious, and everywhere you see small temples. In village you see Kuladevam Valibadu in Tamil Nadu. They hold very dearly to their gods. And even in a small village you go, you see the kind of religious worship the women folks maintain. So this is what I mentioned, it is a very deeply religious state. But I was also very happy in Ramanathapuram, which has got a significant amount of minority population, especially the Muslims. A lot of people walked with us. That was a very, very good sign. And a lot of people believe in Modiji's development. A lot of people think they are also beneficiaries of Modiji's development. So I see a lot of minority brothers and sisters also becoming part of our Yatra. Today we named our Muslim brother's son. He had his child. He wanted us to name today. We named it. We gave him a name also. These are all scenes that Tamil Nadu hasn't seen in a long time. So I think Modiji's model is resonating deep in the ground, and everybody believes they are part of this the thinking, part of this Yatra, which makes us to believe that it's people's Yatra. Moment, I think it will take some time for us to achieve it. The day people think it is their Yatra, I think our job is done, sir.
True, and that's where the hard yards have to be put in. Annamalai ji, always a pleasure speaking with you. It's just day 4 into your Yatra. Somewhere through the course, the latter half, we look forward to connecting with you again. And does this padayatra of the BJP does surely become a people's Yatra? We'll take a stock of that. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Thank you. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, that was Annamalai with pushing the fortunes of the BJP. Let's now look at another state which has been part of the discourse to the extent that the Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance. Manipur. They've agreed to hear petitions on the same. The state, meanwhile, continues to witness an uneasy calm. Things are yet not come back to normal. There were incidents of firing. Schools and colleges haven't opened all across. There is internet shutdown in many areas. Now, even as this is happening, even as the centre is working hard via back channels to foster peace among the Kukis and the Meitei. But we have updates which say that there are entities beyond our borders who are trying to fish in troubled waters and perhaps even further stoke the fire. An intel source has revealed to News 18, and that to a group editor of security, Manoj Gupta, that both China and Pakistan are adding fuel to this Manipur crisis. CNN News 18 has accessed an intelligence note that reveals that China wants to take advantage of the tension in the region to push drugs, arms, terrorists into the northeast. The source reveals that China and Pakistan are using Nepal as unknown and silent territory and also as a launch pad to infiltrate terrorists, weapons and also to fund radicals. Now let's try and decode this entire plot further. Here is the charge. Recent developments after Manipur crisis suggest that external forces are trying to take advantage of the crisis. China is trying to push arms and drugs via Myanmar as this region supports opium farming. And Myanmar has seen a 30% rise in production after tension, and the same fertile land is available in the northeastern states. Charge 3. China and Pakistan are using Nepal as unknown and silent territory and as launch pads. Charge 4. Both countries are actually using Nepal to infiltrate terrorists, weapons and funding radicals. The intel source reveals that China's secret service MSS is using Nepalese traders as spies in Indian northeastern states. Now the intel sources are also saying that these Nepalese traders are working as Chinese spies in northeastern region to fund radical groups. Some weapons recoveries have been made in the area, and these have Chinese markings, and they have been pushed in a systematic manner from Myanmar. Recent example is the attack from Myanmar by terrorists in July 2023 in Moreh area, where Chinese weapons were recovered. But why the involvement of Pakistan and China and targeting India via the northeastern state of Manipur? First up, connectivity to other South Asian countries. India has got an ambitious project, a transnational project that also has the Moreh connection, multi-billion-dollar investment to take trade even into Thailand via Myanmar. Several infra and rail development projects that are there to try and increase and improve connectivity all across the northeast. They aim to create another Kashmir-like situation because they want to hive off India. There is a 71 connection to this, ladies and gentlemen, where China tried to help Pakistan with a war chest and war planes to totally shave off all that lies beyond West Bengal. So Bangladesh and all of the northeast, with the agreement that China would take control of Arunachal, Nagaland and of course areas like Meghalaya and Manipur. But this is not the first time China has been trying to invade or interfere. Insurgent outfits in the northeast, including Manipur, have links with armed groups. Chinese weapons enter northeast region via Myanmar's armed groups. Myanmar coup, China tried to push drugs and arms and terrorists. China has also provided safe haven to insurgent leaders, including the Alpha commander Paresh Barua and National Socialist Council of Nagaland, IM's Phunting Shimrang. Other top insurgents who are expected to be hiding or who are presumed to be hiding in China, like the Deputy Commander of the Naga Army, Hanshiram Santangkhol, Major General of the Naga Army, Absalom Assisi. Then China may have re-established its links with PLA Manipur and like-minded groups in the backdrop of the situation along the line of actual control. In 2020, China even warned India against a trade pact with Taiwan, saying Beijing would retaliate by supporting Northeast separatists and stop recognizing Sikkim as a part of India. So, Dr. Shrikant Kondapalli, Professor in Chinese Studies, JNU and China expert, should be joining us. But with me in the studio is Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, retired former Chief of Staff 14 Corps. General Sanjay Kulkarni, are there multiple layers? There is an ethnic strife, and is it much more than just a law and order situation?
Thank you, Anand. Much more than what we see on the face of it. Ethnic, yes. There's no denying the fact that both the Kukis and the Meiteis have an ethnic problem. And that would get resolved, I hope. And that is why when you say uneasy calm, this calm is because there's a whole lot of backstage diplomacy going on. talks going on to ensure that the two sides come and talk. Well, we have a 400-kilometer border with Myanmar. We've had the Chinese involvement in the northeast in the 60s and the 70s, or insurgencies that are there. We've had Pakistan meddling in Bangladesh and sending in. You have this Kuki community demanding Kuki land, which has an area of approximately about 50,000 square kilometers plus. And you have people in Mizoram with the same language, same ethnic lot in the Chin in Myanmar and also in Bangladesh. So there's a lot of it, a lot of weapons available in the grey market which can be pumped in, and therefore you find that despite 5,000 weapons having been stolen, gifted, taken away, whichever way you want to call it, about another 5 lakh rounds of ammunition, you don't find that kind of firing going on. That means both sides seem to have adequate weapons to deter one another, and therefore the firing is not much. Besides all this, the boundary with Myanmar is not fenced as yet, just about 10 odd kilometers fenced. You have another 16 kilometers that those suspended, people can go across. So there is a lot that Chinese can fish, what you said, Anand, in troubled waters. Drug, the entire Golden Triangle where the drugs are being pushed in, you find even in Manipur, the acreage of land which was earlier under poppy cultivation just about a few years back, about 1,800 acres, has gone up above 6,000 acres. The amount of money which is now exchanged in the drug itself amounts to about 50,000 crores a year. The budget of Manipur is just 35,000 crores. So you see there's a huge amount of money which is being exchanged in drugs, and therefore there are a lot of other people who are interested, nations interested, that northeast, which supposedly a gateway for India to act east, be blocked, and therefore India is perpetually kept boxed in South Asia.
South Asia. So is this limited only to China and Pakistan, or are there other entities, other nations also involved? Because if you're saying 50,000 crores worth of poppy, then who's buying this poppy?
See, this
it has to go somewhere, right?
Absolutely. This is the Golden Triangle. Now you find the Golden Crescent, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, that complete area. If there is where the poppy cultivation is on, there may be some amount of restrictions now being imposed because America has been there for very long, and therefore but over here you suddenly find that is why if you go in for governance, when you say the Manipur government should govern, they are going into governance ensuring that poppy cultivation is restricted, illegal immigration is restricted, or illegal immigrants are at least issued kind of passes to know that these people have to go back, refugees. You can't keep them there calling them Raitan, means brothers, and encourage them to be in large numbers. So there are a lot of complex situation which is there in Manipur. So it requires time. Otherwise, to say that people aren't working and that the state is on fire and everybody is sleeping, it isn't like that. There are a whole lot of complex situation which involve drugs, illegal immigration, the kind of distrust between the two communities. There's so much that happens.
See, also there has been, like you talked about this entire ethnic background. Shrikant Kondapalli ji is also with us. Good evening, sir. I was talking to Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan the other day, and he said that one aspect is that there is a certain amount of the Mizo, Chinzo. They see themselves as brothers. They all originate from one sect of origin, and their roots are from Myanmar. So is there a Kuki-Zo, Mizo, Chin coming together, and this Zomi identity being created? The last 2 years of civil war, this creation of the Chin state, if the military junta in Myanmar was backed by the Chinese, these rebels or these warriors in the Chin state have to be backed by an equally powerful entity. Is there another multination dynamic here? Shrikantji.
Indeed, I think when you look at the ethnic migration pattern several decades ago, Kukis are part of the Myanmar and the extended ranges, and they have been migrating to different places, and of course now in Manipur. But I wanted to bring in the larger element of China in this. There has been a lot of reports about the Chinese influence in the Northeast, and we got to know about this in terms of the arms sales, smuggling, drugs trafficking, as the previous speaker has been mentioned about the amount of drugs that have been there. And the fact that the Manipur chief minister had put restrictions on the poppy cultivation has fed into this discontent in terms of the violence that we witnessed. But the overall aspect is the role of China here. Some years ago, there was the Anthony Shimre case where the drug trafficking small arms have been reported. And we see the Yunnan-based ordnance factories markings have been found in many of these small arms that were seized as part of the smuggling process. And this indicates there is, although China had denied and has been careful not to leave any trace here, yet there is the larger picture of China's thrust in those areas, as the Anthony Shimre case has indicated several years ago. And in terms of Assam and other areas, we have seen Paresh Barua living in Kunming in East-West Road, as previously, as you have aired those incidents. So there is this larger picture of China here. The fact of the matter is, of course, there is a law and order situation that we have to fix, but there is the China fishing in the troubled waters. That factor is there.
But Shrikantji, what are the aspects, and then I'll bring that after you. I'll ask this. I'll ask General Kulkarni also to weigh in on it. Is this 2-year civil war in Myanmar? Lieutenant General Abhay Krishna had an interesting point of view, saying who's funding the Chin state against the military junta backed by the Chinese? Who's buying all this poppy to fuel? Is there a legal consumption of poppy also in pharmaceuticals? Along with Chinese weapons, even American weapons have been found there. So is there a different dynamic to block Chinese trade routes?
China gets about 94% of its drugs from Myanmar borders. In the Sichuan-Panna and other counties, the Chinese get a lot of these drugs from only 4 to 5% from Afghanistan area, but about 94% coming from Myanmar. And so there is this drug-related angle. And a few years ago, China had the problem of Kokang uprising. Kokang people are Chinese people who settled down in Kachin state, Shan state. And due to the rivalry in these areas, they were driven away by the Kachin and Shan armies. So about 55,000 Kokang have left for Yunnan province.
Okay.
So there is an ethnic angle, there is a drug angle for this. And then you have also seen the Rohingya crisis intensifying. And in the last 2 years, Myanmar government, the junta has been very stiff in terms of resolving this issue. And so there is this angle of Myanmar as well in terms of the ethnic factor and the terrorism factor.
No, but this, quickly, General Kulkarni, possible that there is another element there which is fueling so that this trade route is blocked because for China, this entire route and stability in this route is critical because their trade route, their Obor Belton Road also flows into Myanmar and not so far away from where this entire fight is happening.
The Chinese,
if I remember the map correctly.
The Chinese are looking for an entry into the Indian Ocean. So they have the Coco Islands, they're looking at the Myanmaris, and this entire Chin region from Yunnan is kept under their control. That's the first thing. And even if you see now, 25,000 square kilometers is Manipur, of which about 15,000 square kilometers is forested area. And the reserve forest and the drones and the satellite imageries do tell you where the clearance has taken place and where the poppy is being grown. The fertilizer which are being subsidized to the farmers over there, that also is being used for conversion into synthetic tablets which are high, and they give you that high which is coming all the way from there, and the route is to Kohima, and then they move all over the world, right? Once they've entered Kohima, then the route is all free, absolutely, coming from Moreh. So this particular route, there is no denying the fact that the drug lords are working at such scale. And as I told you, the economy, 50,000 crores is the economy of the drug lords. 35,000 crores is the economy of the Manipur government, of which 80% almost is funded by the central government. So it is extremely difficult, and that is why you find this kind of a resistance coming to what is happening at this point of time. Like you rightly said, weapons, marked American weapons are there. So there are a whole lot of other agencies which are working to destabilize and to ensure that the cookies are front. And I met the Chief Minister around the 9th of April this year, and I didn't find any time ever he said anything against the cookies. He's all for cookies. He's against those illegal immigrants from Myanmar. That is what he's against it, and rightfully so, because Mizoram itself have said that there are about 20,000. They aren't calling them refugees. Mizoram calls them brothers. Raitan is the word that they use as brothers. And if that be so, that is where the whole problem is. The drugs, they can't call them because they have supported them in 60s and 70s. So today is the payback time for them. That's a community which is extending from Mizoram to Manipur, going right up to Myanmar and Bangladesh. So there's a huge lot of this thing. And obviously the Metis, or for that matter anybody, surprisingly and good, I said extremely happy that the Naga Ho have stayed away. It's only the Chin Kuki-Zo which is fighting the Metis right now.
Correct, and because there is a combination of identities of the Chin Kuki-Zo coming together as the Zomi.
Absolutely.
And being and this is, somebody is building this narrative there. And there is also this whole push of separatism, saying we want a separate Zomi state, etc., etc. That is just a sign of things to come, that this is perhaps just the scraping of the tip of the iceberg at this point in time. Sir, I have run out of time. Shrikant Kondapalli and also General Kulkarni, thank you so much for weighing in. We'll take this conversation forward. There's much more to it than meets the eye. We've just got news coming through, ladies and gentlemen, so just breaking away to share this detail with you. Cracking down further on the terror activities of the banned Popular Front of India, the NIA has attached one of the oldest and largest arms and physical training centers of the banned outfit in Kerala. This is the 6th PFI Arms Training Center and the 18th property of the outfit to be attached by the NIA in Kerala as proceeds of terrorism under this clause, under the provisions of the UAPA. The Green Valley Academy is managed by Green Valley Foundation and was used by the cadre of National Development Front (NDF) and subsequently by the PFI, into which it merged. PFI had been using this property for imparting arms training, physical training and training on use and testing of explosives to its cadre, identified to be part of their quote-unquote service wing. The facility was also used to harbour several PFI service wing members after they committed crimes including murders. The centre was further being used to impart radical and rabid type of ideological training in PFI's divisive and communal agenda and policies to its trained operatives. Cadre and members, officers of PFI and its frontal organizations were functioning from their premises under the guise of educational institutions. Investigations have also revealed that PFI had hired several buildings for running their training camps and activities relating to terror and violence. Our investigations editor, Group Editor Security, Manoj Gupta, getting us these details. Short break. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the right stand, when we come back, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, for the first time since the Gyanvapi matter entered into a legal tussle and battle entered the courts, has come out and said to call the entire Gyanvapi Parisar a masjid is wrong. A historical wrong, a mistake, it's time it is corrected. And he has urged the Muslim Paksh to consider and take the right stand. Stay with us.
Dream car hai meri.
Uttar Pradesh, we know the instance that they wanted to give staple visa to our athletes. Because they want to take control of that entire region. There are other entities who believe that there are rich uranium, thorium deposits also in Manipur, Mizoram and Meghalaya. So they want that area to be under their control. And of course, what is happening in Myanmar between the military junta controlled by the Chinese. Who's funding the Chin state? What kind of weaponry is coming there? Yes, there are Chinese arms and ammunition here. But are there America-made American weapons systems which are also there with some of the other parties who are part of that civil war? These dynamics make this whole thing, the flux very concerning More importantly, is this just the beginning of a lot more of trouble that Northeast could witness?
That's
and are
exactly
we
what
wise?
I wanted to understand, Anna. There are two things here. One, of course, there is a larger pattern at play because they want the unrest because they want to take advantage of it. We've seen something similar play out in Kashmir. There's possibly something similar that's playing out. The second part is, what is the role of Nepal? Why are they using Nepal as the silent launchpad when they want to push either drugs or arms across the border?
See, Nepal as a nation finds itself sandwiched,
Yeah.
right? It's sandwiched with Chinese occupied territory on the one hand and the Chinese influence of the PLA. On the other hand, you have India, who's always been a friend.
Yeah.
Then they have also got porous borders with Sikkim and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So they have infiltration there. And then there is always this entire route, the Nepal route, being used by the Pakistanis because they find their entry via the POK, POJK regions, and then they come into Nepal. Or direct access from Pakistan into Nepal, which happens. So Nepal then becomes a hotbed. A lot of it, the Nepalese establishment itself does not know who's working where and what's happening because there are huge, it's not about 5-10 kilometers of open porous borders. It's more than hundreds into thousands of kilometers all the way from Uttarakhand, Uttarachal, all the way into Sikkim. That the borders are porous. So entry, egress and all of that becomes very easy for people to operate out of. And Nepal is also far-flung.
Yeah.
Lot of areas are totally isolated, desolated areas. So there for people to pitch camp and to conduct their operations becomes very easy. You cannot blame the Nepalese government for it because the system can only handle that much.
Yeah.
And all of the Northeast for a lot of time had been neglected. So people had a free run.
Yeah.
It's only now that the connection is happening, the understanding is happening. So it's a process. But more importantly, those who are understand and identify with India, if they wake up to this and then they call out this kind of a game which is happening, then perhaps we have a solution in sight. But we have to be clear that beyond the ethnic strife, there are entities which are deliberately stoking it too.
Yeah. Intel sources are now revealing to us here at CNN News 18 that China and Pakistan, as I pointed out, are adding fuel to the Manipur crisis. CNN News 18 has also accessed this intel note in the details that we will just be breaking for our viewers in just a bit, how China wants to take advantage of this region, also of this sensitive time. Let's first break down the details in terms of what is this intel note even revealing to us here at CNN News 18, and then of course we'll also talk to you about what they want to do as far as fueling fire further to this already sensitive situation. Let's break down all those details in terms of what is the role of China and Pakistan and what do they want to gain of a sensitive situation. This is what the intel note is now revealing here on CNN News 18. First, external forces taking advantage of the crisis. As I pointed out, the situation still remains sensitive and tense. China and Pakistan wanting to take an undue advantage of that situation. Charge 2, China trying to push arms and drugs via Myanmar. This is something that we've discussed in the past as well. 3, China and Pakistan allegedly using Nepal as a launch pad, as I pointed out, as a silent launch pad. They're trying to infiltrate terrorists and weapons, trying to use the unrest on the ground. What we also now want to break down is in terms of what do they want to achieve as far as this infiltration bid is concerned. China using Nepalese traders to fund radicals are also part of this intel note. Traders working as Chinese spies in the northeast region. This is also what the intel note is revealing. Chinese markings found on arms that have been recovered so far as well, showing the nefarious plan as far as China and Pakistan is concerned. Now, why is China and Pakistan trying to take an undue advantage of what is happening in Manipur? How are they planning to target Manipur and also using Manipur? Let's break down those details as well. There is connectivity to other southern South Asian countries as well. So if they're able to enter through what's happening in Manipur, then they get access to other areas as well. The second is several infra and rail development projects, so they get access to that as well. The third is there is an aim to create another Kashmir-like situation. This is something that we've spoken time and again. The peace and normalcy in Kashmir has of course ruffled a lot of feathers across the border. The third is aim to create another Kashmir-like situation, as I pointed out, and that is why they want to target Manipur today and take an undue advantage of the unrest that still continues. Let's also try and bring our colleague Anand also in the conversation to try and understand the modus operandi, what they aim to achieve, and more importantly, what are the other details that are now emerging from this intel note. Anand, as we pointed out to our viewers, this is not the first time that we're reporting stories, but what is it that China and Pakistan wants to do of the Myanmar situation as far as the nefarious plan is concerned?
Well, there is a history to this. It's also chronicled back till 1971 that the Chinese were interested in helping the Pakistanis with military planes. Back on, ladies and gentlemen, amid the court tussle over a scientific survey of the entire Gyanvapi Parisar, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the Muslim Paksh must come forward to help rectify a historical wrong. Yogi Adityanath going on to add that calling Gyanvapi a masjid or a mosque is erroneous and will be disputed, and said that what the Gyanvapi is there for everyone to see. It's there visible to the naked eye. Going on to remind the Muslim Paksh about the sculptures, the deities, the structures, the Hindu idols or Hindu deities who are seen there. And he said, what is a Trishul doing inside a masjid? This is not the first time Yogi Adityanath has said this about Gyanvapi. In 2015 also, when Yogi Adityanath was just an MP from Gorakhpur, he had asked, what are Hindu symbols and Hindu relics, Hindu deities doing in a mosque? If that is the case, then I would like to place Gauri and Ganesh in every mosque if that is allowed. That's what he had gone on to say at that time. Even in the 52-page booklet released by the Yogi Adityanath government on the Kashi Vishwanath Dham project, it is said that a temple was demolished and a mosque was built over it. The booklet claimed that the Garbhagriha of the temple was broken to build the Gyanvapi Masjid in 1669. Before we take the debate this further, let's listen into what Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान ने जिसको दृष्टि दी है वो देखे ना, त्रिशूल मस्जिद के अंदर क्या कर रहा है। हमने तो नहीं रखे ना, ज्योतिर्लिंग हैं, देव प्रतिमाएं हैं, पूरी दीवारें चिल्ला चिल्ला के क्या कह रही हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि ये प्रस्ताव मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से आना चाहिए कि साहब ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है और उस गलती के लिए हम चाहते हैं समाधान हो।
It's been a historic mistake. ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है आज से 353 साल पहले। हम चाहते हैं उसका समाधान हो, एंड द समाधान हैज टू कम फोर्थ फ्रॉम द मुस्लिम पक्ष. That's the kind of appeal that Yogi Adityanath is making. Vishnu Jain, advocate Supreme Court and also representing the Hindu side, is with us, and so is Waris Pathan of the AIMIM. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Waris Pathan, how would you want to respond to the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister?
Well, Anand, first and foremost, the country will not run on faith. The country will run on the constitution given to us by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Yogi Adityanath has taken oath on the constitution. He became the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, but today he does not follow the constitution. He very well knows that the matter is sub judice, pending before the Allahabad High Court. The order is to be given on the 3rd of August, whether the ASI survey is required or no. Now, pending that order, sub judice matter, which is a serious issue, he comes before the nation and says that the Muslim must come before. Why does he not go and read the Places of Worship Act 1991, when it is clearly stated that prior 15 August 1947, all the monuments, churches, places prior to that date, you cannot change the nature and character of that. Why does he not read that? And he talks about the history. Let him remind him about Swami Vivekananda's volume 9, what he states. So in that, he also says that Jagannath Puri, which is a temple now, was earlier a Buddhist mutt. So will he revise the history there also? So in order to ensure that such kind of things don't happen in our country, Places of Worship Act 1991 was enacted. Even the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat earlier stated, so Anand, that Babri time the situation was different. Now we will not go after the Kashi and Mathura thing. So why now all of a sudden he wants to come before the nation and make this? Why this threat? Why Muslims only should come forward? Let him show a bigger heart. This is done to see that because 2024 elections are nearing. This is the polarizing techniques which is played by the BJP time and again by dividing the by creating communal flare up in the country. country. From 2 to 350, they jumped like that. Gai, Ganga, Danga, Mandir, and now this Gyanvapi they have come to. People are asking them questions on Manipur. They have shifted the mind from them. People are asking them questions on the development, on the unemployment which is going on in the country. They don't have any answer to that. So in order to divert the mind of the nation from the basic issues, now Yogi has come with this. Why does it not wait? I have quoted two things. I have quoted Swami Vivekananda. I have said about Mohan Bhagwat. And let me remind the nation, since last 400 years, people are offering namaz there. There is a wazu khana there. Even the Allahabad High Court earlier said that a namaz ki ijazat hai wahan par, and that special things should be made to ensure that wazu is done there properly. This is a direction of the honorable courts. So why should come often before the nation and make this kind of statements? Why does he want to take us back to the eras of 90s? What you mean everybody saw? Similar thing, today he spoke about Trishul. Similar thing, Anand, I will complete in 10 seconds. Similar thing was stated during the Babri issue. अचानक रात के अंधेरे में December 1949 में मूर्ति प्रकट हो गई वहां पे. Then a lock was removed. Then an affidavit was filed before the Honorable Supreme Court, and a conspiracy was hatched wherein our Babri Masjid was demolished on 6th December. We cannot forget that black day in the history of the democracy of our great nation. Why to again bring to that? Why does it not follow the places of worship which is still into existence? The law is not repealed.
Can you yield,
my
sir?
learned friend Vishnu Jain will enlighten you on that as well.
Okay, thank you. Point. I have a few questions to you, Varis Pathan, but after Vishnu Jain makes his rebuttal. Yes, Vishnu Jain.
See, now Mr. Varis Pathan has made lot of suggestions and arguments here, but let me put it in perspective, and the basic point is this, that Varis bhai, please tell me any provision of the constitution, CPC, CRPC, where it is a mandate or it's a legal provision that a chief minister or any constitutional functionary cannot speak about a pending issue in the court. Point number one. Point number two is that, let me tell you, Anand, that state of UP is not a contesting respondent in the case. I would have agreed to what Varis bhai is saying if state of UP was a contesting respondent in the case and the chief minister has given some statement against the affidavit which has been filed in the court. That's not the case here. Point number three, this is a list between Anjuman Intizamiya and the Hindu devotees. So what's wrong if the chief minister of a state, who is also the head of a peeth, is also giving such a statement in consonance with the facts of the case, in consonance with the tune and theme of various Sanatanis who believe that this is the structure of a old Hindu temple. Point, and the most important point is, Varis bhai is saying कि हमारी वहाँ पे नमाज हो रही थी, तो वारिस भाई हमारी भी वहाँ पे November 1993 तक पूजा हो रही थी. The Vyas परिवार was worshipping in the cellar till November 1993. Ma Shringar Gauri, we are doing worship till day on Vasantik Navratra, on 4th day of Vasantik Navratra. Till today we are worshipping Ma Shringar Gauri on the western side of the mosque. And Anand, remember, the western side of the mosque is the side where the Muslims offer their namaz. So no Shringar Gauri or no Hindu idol can ever be present on a western side of a mosque. In the so-called mosque on the western side, we are worshipping Ma Shringar Gauri. Earlier, before November 1993, we used to worship every day, but after oral orders were passed by Mulayam Singh Yadav government, then we are worshipping on one day of every Navratri. And who barricaded that entire area without any orders of the court, without any authority? Who barricaded that entire area? And very, very crucial and important point is, Anand, that if beneath these three central domes, I am claiming and I am saying that beneath these three central domes there is Shikhar of Hindu Mandir, how will it be investigated? If I am saying that the western wall belongs of a whole old Hindu structure and Aurangzeb is not built it, then how will it be proved? If I am saying it is not a wazu khana, it's a shivling, it's not a fountain, please investigate it. How will it be proved? And who is running away from the Archaeological Survey of India evidence? Let me tell you, Anand, on 12th of May 2023, the Honorable Allahabad High Court passed an order that this wazu khana, in which shivling has been found, in which we say it's a shivling, the other side says it's a fountain, let it be investigated by the ASI. Who went to the Supreme Court that we don't want any investigation? When the District Court of Varanasi passed an order on 21st of July saying that entire area let be surveyed by ASI without damaging the structure. ASI gave an affidavit also that no, we will not damage the structure. Who went to the Supreme Court and who is contesting the matter in the Allahabad High Court? The fact, and very glaring and blatant fact and hard fact of the matter is that, Anand, that they don't want any investigation because in the central dome there is still a way which goes down, and they don't want anyone to go down because the facts will emerge and come out. They don't want any investigation of the western wall because the western wall is saying that it's the ruins of our old Hindu temple. That structure, that architecture, can you, it's so hilarious. Anyone can come on your channel and argue that this is constructed by Aurangzeb and let it be investigated. What's the harm in it?
Varis Pathan, respond.
Well, Anand, you spoke about why should there not be a settlement on. Let me quote you verbatim, Anand. Just before the beginning of the Hindu holy month of Shravan, the Muslim community has announced a gift for Sri Kashi Vishwanath Temple Trust in the form of piece of land measuring 1700 square feet adjacent to the Gyanvapi Mosque for the development of the Kashi Vishwanath Dham.
In exchange, we also gave you.
Given a piece of land. Then why the dispute? The prayers are taking place. Why there is a dispute? Why do you want to have a survey then?
No, that is for tower. That is for watchtower.
The intentions are
completely erroneous, Anand.
Okay.
No, this is the same thing happened during the Babri.
No, it's not the same.
That is why I say
Varis Pathan, one minute.
When you cannot change the nature and character,
One second,
Varis survey help you here?
Varis Pathan, you please make your argument. But there is just 2 or 3 submissions that I would like to make. One is, sir, to call it the same as Babri is different, is erroneous. And I'll tell you why. You yourself said that suddenly the claim was made that a murti prakat hui. Okay, in this case, there is no claim which is being made that there is something that a deity or a murti prakat hui. The point is, it is already there.
They talk about
one minute, sir. The Ma Shringar Gauri on the western wall of the Gyanvapi Parisar is already there. Nobody has placed her there. She is there, and the puja is happening twice in a year.
No.
Nandi. One minute, sir. Nandi, who's considered the Vahana of Shiva, is already present inside the Gyanvapi Parisar, which is now considered the masjid. Nobody's placed Nandi there. Nandi is already there. Prakat nahi hua hai, wahi hai. So, and those, the fact that till 1993, you said Places of Worship Act 1991, till 1993, daily puja aarti in the basement by the Vyas Parivar, and also puja of Ma Shringar Gauri used to happen till the oral orders were passed. Okay, so these are all facts which are already documented. Just like documentation, James Prinsep, who was a governor of that area, and that at that point in time, he has done a full survey, and what he's drawn as charts and all very clearly outlined. So please, let's not misconstrue facts. You are saying you are raking an issue or there is a political intent. You make those arguments, but let's not make an erroneous comparison. Is my submission. Vishnu Jain wanted to counter your aspect that there was an exchange.
I am not making any erroneous.
Yes.
No, there was an exchange.
See,
Anand,
it is
Vishnu Jain has a point.
There was an exchange between Kashi Vishwanath Trust and the Anjuman Intizamiya, and that was for construction of watchtower. And we had also given our land in exchange. It's not that Anjuman Intizamiya gave our land on every Sawan and they went away. We also gave our land in exchange. Varis bhai, please quote correct facts. And that was for construction of watchtower when Kashi Vishwanath corridor was made. That has nothing to do with this barricading area in Khasra number 9130. That has nothing to do with that fact.
Okay. Now,
Anand, do you feel that, do you think Anand, that the parliamentarians who made the Places of Worship Act 1991 and the president who endorsed it were not aware about these facts at the relevant time? The intention was clear to ensure that such kind of things don't happen in our country.
But what is the intention to right now, sir,
the Supreme Court also said that time. Why you want the nation to go back to
Yogi Adityanath has not said it. Yogi Adityanath has only urged the Muslim Paksh to correct a historic wrong. That a masjid was built after breaking down a temple.
The historic wrong that you Swami Vivekananda also.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Correct. So tomorrow, if there is a 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. Tomorrow, if there is a Buddhist group who comes out and says, no, we would like to reclaim that place which you are claiming is the area of Jagannath of Puri, then that will be an issue that the Buddhist groups and the Hindu groups will talk about. Here you are agreeing that in 1669 Aurangzeb broke the temple. Now let me ask you, as per as the tenets of Islam,
there is a farman to that effect.
There is a farman and it's all documented. I am not quoting out of the.
Anand,
I am asking you what is it. Can I ask? Yes, I have
history.
Yeah. Go ahead. I have also read history.
There were many temples in Kashi. If Aurangzeb had to demolish, he would have demolished everything. They say that Aurangzeb demolished the Kashi
Yes,
Mandir.
They don't say. They don't say, sir. Aurangzeb's
Three temples I'm naming in Kashi.
One minute, sir. Sir, Aurangzeb's own documentarian.
He was not a fool. He was the most
Aurangzeb's own
He
documentarian.
ruled for 50 years.
Let's not fight over Aurangzeb. I have a simple question. I have a simple question, sir. Whatever was done 353 years ago was done. But let me ask you, do the tenets of Islam, how do they define a masjid, or how should a masjid be built? Can a masjid have other religious symbols? Can a masjid have Gauri and Ganesh in it?
Once a masjid.
But what is a masjid?
Once a
No,
temple.
one minute. Agree. Both Vishnu Jain. One minute, gentlemen. 1 minute, gentlemen. Both.
Not help, Anand.
No. You hear my question, sir. You're not answering the question. You're using your prowess as a lawyer to sidestep the question. You are right. Once a masjid, always a masjid. Just like Vishnu Jain is right. Once a temple, always a temple. But what is a masjid, sir? What according to the scriptures of Islam is a masjid?
Built a mosque after demolishing a Hindu temple.
1 minute, sir. One
Very
minute,
clear,
Vishnuji.
He's saying-
Let Waris Pathan answer. Waris
Your
Pathan
question-
knows the tenets of
Anand,
Islam.
I will take
I am
you
asking
to
you, sir,
1930.
what is the definition of a masjid where namaz ada hoti? That means namaz is accepted or a prayer is accepted. What is the definition of a masjid? How should that masjid be built where you can actually go and pray?
नमाज तो मैं मेरी ऑफिस में भी पढ़ता हूँ, आप पूजा
Correct.
अपनी ऑफिस में भी
नहीं,
करते हैं।
when
मगर
you go
मस्जिद
to a
जगह है
masjid-
जिसको हम अल्लाह का घर बोलते हैं।
Correct.
मस्जिद
What is
अल्लाह
the-
का घर है।
हाँ, correct.
Once a masjid, always a
No,
masjid.
sir. What
Now
is
we
that
take
masjid?
1937.
What is once a masjid? Define a masjid, sir.
To make my
Can a
point.
masjid,
1937
can a structure that has been
testimony
forcibly
evidence was
acquired,
there.
can a structure that has been forcibly acquired
Who
be
acquired?
deemed a masjid? Can a
Issue was
structure that is
settled.
built over the remnants
Issue was
of
settled.
another place of prayer for another faith be deemed a masjid? Can a
Never.
structure that has been,
Absolutely.
can a structure that has not been
Issue
made
was
with the
settled.
purity that is accorded via the Sharia, can that be deemed a masjid? And if you offer prayer in such a place, will that prayer be
That is a
accepted?
masjid.
Will that prayer
That
be
is a
accepted?
masjid.
Sir, please
Even
be
today
honest.
it is a masjid.
Please be
Even in
honest.
1937, Deen Mohammed
Sir,
judgment,
please
it
be
is
hon-
clear, which
Sir,
says
I
that
am asking you,
it is a work
don't
of property.
quote-
Once
don't-
a work, always a work.
No,
It
sir.
was a Hanafi
What
masjid,
is-
as claimed by the
what
historians.
is
Why do you
a
want to change
masjid?
the nature now?
You said, I
Why
agree
would
with
you
you,
say-
once a
I am
masjid,
talking
always a
law.
masjid. Just like once a temple,
1937,
always a temple. There is for a vigraha to be there has to be prana pratishtha for a vigraha to be deemed as living and the place of ownership in Hindu Shastras. Same way, a place has to be deemed rightly a masjid, and for that a certain tenet has to be followed. Has it not got to be followed? Only then it is a masjid, and if it has been done in that manner, then it will always remain a masjid. I agree with you. But has
Yes.
it been done in the case of Gyanvapi?
Masjid. There
Has
is a
it been
wazu
done in the
khana.
case of Gyanvapi?
There is a
No,
wazu
no.
khana there.
No, you know the answer
It
to the
is-
question.
it
You
is
know
there.
what I am
It is
answering,
there.
but you are not
They are
answering.
lying to the thief.
आप
Anand, the
प्रश्न
very
समझ
thing they
गए,
said
आप
during the
प्रश्न का
Babri
उत्तर
time
भी
also.
जानते हैं
No,
और
no,
उसके
मैं
बाद
प्रश्न
भी
भी
उसका
समझ
उत्तर
गया,
नहीं दे
answer
रहे.
भी आप-
My question to you, sir.
No, you are not allowing
If-
me to answer.
No, sir,
You are
please
not
tell me.
allowing. Your
Please.
question is simple. My answer is simple to that. In 1937, Deen Mohammed judgment, the courts have come to a conclusion that is a waqf property. There was a Hanafi masjid there, and we have started praying.
No,
there.
sir.
Since
No, sir.
400
I
years,
am
people
asking
are
you a
praying
far
there.
bigger
There is a
question.
wazu khana there.
Far bigger
People are
question.
observing
For
wazu, praying namaz
353
there. What
years, my
difficulty
simple
was that?
question is, have those people who continue to offer prayers there and continue to deem
you
it a
are
masjid,
talking
have they done it against the very tenets of Islam
They are
itself?
offering
You
prayers.
have to answer that question.
Why not? Why once a masjid, always a masjid.
Sir, what
once
is a
waqf
masjid in the
property,
first
always a waqf property. As settled
What
in
is a masjid in
1937
the
Deen
first place,
Mohammed-
sir?
in
You are
Deen
not
Mohammed
answering
case.
that question. What is a masjid in the first place? Vishnu
What
Jain,
is a masjid in the first
Vishnu
place?
Jain,
Place of
Vishnu
worship.
Jain,
What
Waris
is a masjid
Pathan.
in
I
the
have run
first
out of
place?
time. I have run out of time, but we'll continue this conversation. The idea is, do you really want to resolve this conflict or do you not, ladies and gentlemen? That's what Yogi Adityanath is saying. It's time to resolve it, but it's the Muslim Paksh that has to move forward. I've run out of time. Zakir Jacob, ready with Brass.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. We're starting off with some breaking news coming in from New in Haryana. And I'm afraid It is slightly disturbing news. One person is dead and 3 others are injured. This is happening in the central Haryana district of Nu. This is following violence during a religious procession. We're given to understand that about 2,500 people are stranded and they have sought shelter at a temple close to Gurugram. Internet services have been suspended in Nu district until the 2nd of August. The violence reportedly erupted over reports of cow vigilante Monu Manesar's visit to the area. Section